Hi folks, this week's sermon and prayers. We'll start with Psalm 121, particular regard to those who are unwell, the general situation. It's on page 510 in the Green Singers. Please join in if you can. Shalom alois, es oeina yel harim, me'ayin yavo Ezri me'yim Adonai, oiseh shamayim va'aretz, al yitein lamait raglecha, al yalom shoyrecha, hinei lo yalom v'lo yishon, shoymei Yisroel, Adonai shoymerecha, Adonai tzilcha, al yad yaminecha, yoimam hashemesh lo yakeka, v'yoreyach b'layla, Adonai yishmorecha, mikora yishmor, es nafshecha, Adonai yishmor teischo v'yecha me'ata v'yadon lam. Before we say prayers for those who are unwell and we mark Yortzites, number of Mazel Tovs to Norman Fenton, Raymond Brandman and Gillian Levin on their birthdays, to Gemma and Luke Roback on the birth of a daughter, Nina Alice, Mazel Tov to Peter who's watching, and to the Henderson family and the Roback families on that lovely news. Also Mazel Tov to Lindsay Howard and the Macatonia family on the birth of a granddaughter, daughter for Paul and Natalie, lovely news there as well. And we wish condolences to the family of the late Rebecca Levy, to her son and daughter Richard and Diane, and we wish them only simchas in the future. We're going to say prayers for those who are unwell. I have a list of names. If people have names to add, please, if you post them in the comments, hopefully I'll be able to add them in real time. Miriam Bas Neta, yes, it's Ben Miriam Bas Chaya Fega Bas Pesha, yes, Jonas and Ben Malchus, Esther Chavras Hazel Bracha, yes, Ben Shpens Ben Miriam Bas Chana Bas Nachama, yes, Moli Huda Ben Caleb, yes, Malchus Bas Chana, yes, Imio Ben Sora, yes, Esther Chana Bas Tavora. Hayelad Avram Aaron ben Chai Bracham, yes, Avram Shagar ben Sora Devora, yes, Leah Basetom, yes, Yitzhak Isaac ben Yisrocham, yes, Roshim ben Fredo, yes, Pesach Aaron ben Shane Negita, yes, Shlam Bas Chai Liba, yes, Leah Bas Karam, yes, Wolf ben Pauline, yes, Shevach Sam ben Chana Liba, yes, Devora Bas Sora Liba, yes, Simon Masha Bas Yacha, yes, Moshe Gershom ben Fegeb, yes, Rafal Hirsch Jonah ben Chanam, yes, Esther Bas Rocham, yes, Francis Bas Herschel, yes, Avram ben Sarah Peril, yes, Moshe Elimelech ben Masha Fegeb, yes, Ovid ben Chaya, yes, Eliyahu ben Dobra Beilev, yes, Yael Basora, yes, Ina Basora, yes, Mordechai David ben Silva, yes, Yaakov ben Miriam, yes, Galia Basora, yes, Yudis Bas Beilev, yes, Michal ben Henya, yes, Yudis ben Malka, yes, Castro ben Fredo, yes, Pinchas ben Liba, yes, Meir ben Malka, yes, Yitro ben Rosachaim, yes, Nosson ben Shana, yes, David ben Tova, yes, Baruch ben Tovachaim, yes, Moshe ben Shifra Rochel, yes, Reuven ben Chama Esther, yes, Shlomo ben Mindel, yes, Yeshua Chona ben Miriam, yes, Ephraim Tzvi ben Shulamis Tzviya, yes, Itan Yaakov ben Tzipor, yes, Chaim Tovia, David ben Chaya Liba, Ba'avoshim Lanzaka, Ba'avoram, B'schazek Shbochim Achanim Aleim, Lachanim Apalis, Lachazik Achayosam, B'shlach Le'mei Refush Nemishma Melchoim, Choginem, so Shechol Yisro Refush Nefesh, Shuru Sagof, Hashtag Agalav Karim, B'noima, Amen. Before we go on to the sermon, we wish long life to those with Yortzeit this week. Tomorrow, Shabbos, Jay Morris for her father and David Sherlin for his wife. On Sunday, David and Alison Bernstein for their late daughter, sister of Sherry Bernstein, now Barnett, and sister of Dean, of course, as well. Lester Clip for his mother, Diane Markovich for her father, and Brian Sinclair for his late friend. On Monday, Uri Cohen for his brother, Shirley Diamond for her mother, Carol Hoppen for her mother, Francis Jeff for her mother, and Elliot Morris for his mother. On Tuesday, Betty Friedman for her mother, Beryl Levine for her mother, Michelle Sugar for her brother. On Wednesday, Jean Brill for her husband, Gerald Isbett for his mother, Ros Medalia for her father, Max Michaels for his mother, Leslie Selwyn for her mother. On Thursday, Agnes Conway for her mother, Eva Hyman for her mother, Doreen Jacobs for her mother, and Jacqueline Pam for her husband. And on Friday, Adele Parley for her sister-in-law, and Rita Ross for her father. Wish everyone long life. Chaim Aruchim. El Ma'ali Rachamim, Sheichem Bamrimim, Hamatei Menuchan Lachayna Kavei Ashchina, V'ma'alois Kedoshim Terim, Kazurakim Masirim Es Nishmais, Hershel ben Nosam, yes, Perel Esther Bas Shmuel, yes, Ava Esther Bas David, yes, Chaya Bas Mordechai, yes, Aaron ben Moshe, yes, Sarah Micha Bas Yosef, yes, Yaakov ben Shimon HaKohen, yes, Ada Bas Yitzchak, yes, Malach Bas Chaim Yitzchak, yes, Chana Bas Yaakov, yes, Esther ben Chaim, yes, Fishel ben Avram, yes, Eliu Chaim ben Yisrael Avram, yes, Rivka Bas David, yes, Miriam Bas Michal, yes, Chana Bas Bero, yes, Simcha Hershel ben Avram, Sholchu Loilam Aman Rachamim, yes, Today B'sei Second of Aviyolamim, Yitol B'Torachim, yes, Tishmasam, No Nachal Hasam, Yinuchim Shemish Kavesam, V'Noimar, Amen. Also marking the Shloshim of Paul Brawner today, and we wish long life to Gillian and the family. Shaul ben Eim of Yisrael Halevi. Zichrona Livracha. Okay, so for this week's sermon, and one of my favorite jokes, which many of you heard before, is a religious Jewish couple. The wife goes into labor Friday night, and she says to the husband, quick, I need to go to the hospital. So he phones up the taxi firm and he says, please, can you send me a taxi to go to the local hospital from whatever my address is? And whatever you do, please, he figures, who wants a Jewish driver on Shabbos? So he says, whatever you do, no Jewish drivers. So as the taxi pulls up outside, he hears the dispatcher over the radio saying, have you picked up the anti-Semites yet? So today I'm going to talk about Shabbos. It's going to seem like a slightly strange subject matter because some of us are home anyway, and maybe for some of us it feels like Shabbos the whole week. But perhaps it's even more pertinent when we are at home. Some of us are working from home, some of us are under pressures, our children are home, some of us may be relaxing, but let's have a little look at Shabbos. The conventional wisdom would be that the working week, the 6 days of the week, are mundane, it's chol, it's regular, and Shabbos is holy. That's how we generally see things. But maybe that's not quite true. The Torah presents the laws of the Shemitah year, in this week's Sedra, the sabbatical year. Tells us for 6 years work your fields, and the 7th year you should rest. Very similar to the language referring to Shabbos as well. 6 days you should work, and on the 7th day you should rest. Rest from what? So the Talmud, of course, tells us from the 39 categories of work. The first 11 are what the Talmud calls the order of bread: ploughing, planting, reaping, binding sheaves, threshing, winnowing, sorting, grinding, sifting, kneading, and baking. And many of these, in fact, are the type of work we perform in the field during the 6 work years. Further connection between Shabbos and the Shemitah. Now, ordinarily, when you think of the weekday and of Shabbos, work years and the Shemitah, you think of the Shabbos and the Shemitah as being holy and sacred, and the first 6 years or the first 6 days as just being mundane. The sabbatical, whether it's once a week or once every 7 years, is when we devote ourselves to higher causes, study and contemplation, during the work years, during the 6 days of working week. We don't have time for higher thoughts. We're on a constant grind to keep up with the season. But God seems to have a different idea. He gave us 6 years to work and 1 year to rest. 6 days to work and 1 day to rest. If Shabbos is so much greater than the week, why did he not make it possible for us to do our work in 1 day and have 6 days of Shabbos? The question becomes even stronger if we know a bit of halakha. If you're stuck on a desert island and you don't know what day is Shabbos, you don't keep Shabbos every day. You count 6 working days, whatever that means for somebody on a desert island, and the 7th you mark as Shabbat. So Shabbos is clearly a part of a cycle of 7, which starts with the 6 working days. Now, of course, it's a fact of life. It always takes longer to prepare something than to enjoy it. It takes hours to cook a gourmet meal and moments to eat it. Weeks to plan to sew a wedding gown and 1 night to wear it. And so it is with Shabbos. We prepare during the week. But it still doesn't explain why would God make the world this way if the wedding is more important than the sewing. Why did he not make it possible to sew a gown in 1 night and have a wedding for weeks? Surely that would be much more fun. So from this we can deduce that as far as Hashem is concerned, there's something special about the working week. There's something special about those 6 years of the Shemitah cycle that you just don't find even in Shabbat. What might that be? There's a clue about this, and a clue about how we see the working week and the year, from the way the sages describe the 39 categories of work that we perform during the week. but we can't do on Shabbat. Our sages called it 40 minus 1. They never called it 39. 40 minus 1. Now, they weren't given to hyperbole. They were very careful with their words. We build mountains of law and deductions from a single phrase or a word or even an extra letter in the Talmud or the Torah. So if the sages chose to say 40 minus 1, there must have been a message. What was that message? Well, there is only one, of course. One is Hashem, the creator of heaven and earth. What were our rabbis trying to tell us about work? What is the purpose of everything we do? We plow to plant, we plant to reap, we reap so we can bind the sheaves, and finally we get to bake. But we don't bake for fun, although lots of people are doing that now in lockdown. We bake so we can eat. Why do we eat? So we can live. Why do we live? So we can plow, plant, reap, bake and eat again. Right? It's like they say in America, everyone's working so they can put a kid through college, and the kid has to go to college to earn enough money to put his kid through college. At some point, someone has to break the cycle. So you have this cycle of work. And along come the rabbis and tell us, why do we do all this hard work during the week? Because the world is minus 1. And we need to reintroduce that 1 into the world he created. All the things we do in order to live, we need them. But why are we doing them? To bring God back into creation. By studying Torah, by doing mitzvot, by sharing a kindness, by giving to charity, and by living our lives, even our working lives, our mundane lives, our 6 days a week, according to the Torah. Our sages didn't say we live minus 1. They said we work minus 1. There's a deeper thought there. If we plow intending to reap, so we can live, to bring holiness into the world, then our very act of plowing becomes holy. The field, the overturned soil, is no longer minus 1. It has a higher purpose. We, through our work, have introduced that 1 into the soil, the field, the plow, the seeds, the bread, even our digestive system. We've made them holy by giving them a role in our work, supporting our efforts to introduce that 1 into our lives. We don't work for 6 days or 6 years to introduce the 1 into our lives on Shabbos or during Shemitah. We work for 6 days or 6 years to introduce God into the working week, into that mundane world, into those first 6 years of that cycle. On Shabbos, during Shemitah, we sit at home or in the yeshiva or in shul, please God soon. We do holy things in holy places that don't need us to introduce them to the 1. He's already there. He's in shul. He's at our Shabbat table, at our learning, all the things we're doing on Shabbos and Yom Tov. But the rest of the week, we have to introduce him into the rest of the world. And that's accomplished not by sitting in shul or sitting at home at our Shabbat table. It's accomplished through our everyday work. Now, obviously, different people are working in different ways. But perhaps even those of us working from home can give us an extra enthusiasm to our work to realize that even our weekday work is geared towards a higher purpose. Now, the world is much larger than our shuls and our homes. It requires much more work than the shul and the home. And so God gives us 6 days or 6 years in the Shemitah cycle to bring that 1 into the big wide world, where the work is challenging and vast. But only 1 day or 1 year to dwell at home, to dwell in shul. Because for those places it suffices. There's no question that what we do on Shabbos, what we do in the Shemitah year, is holier and more enjoyable to the soul. But our work during the week and during the first 6 years is actually more important to Hashem. The Talmud tells us on Shabbos we must feel all our work is done. If we're not meant to think about work, why dwell on the fact that our work is done? Just ignore work. The answer is we can only get the reprieve of Shabbos, the getaway for the soul, if we've worked those 6 days. We enjoy Shabbos because our 6 days of work is done. And because we completed our work, we are depleted spiritually. We need to recharge on Shabbat. So the week is not subservient to the Sabbath. Actually, it's the other way around. Shabbos is subservient to the rest of the week. We rest on Shabbos to gather strength for the week. We study and pray to recharge spiritually for the week. The week, though, is really the most important work that's associated with bringing the 1 into our daily lives. And that's why the Talmud derives the categories of work that we're not allowed to do on Shabbat from the type of work performed in the temple. If our working week is so mundane, why use the sacred tasks of building the Mishkan, of building the tabernacle as a premise for our work? And the answer is because it's not mundane. The work that we do, the sacred task of transforming our everyday actions into holy ones, of bringing the one into the world, is very sacred. And as it says, V'asuli mikdash, when we make a dwelling place for God, V'shochanti b'tocham, He dwells amongst us in everything that we do, not just in our shuls when they're open, or our homes on Shabbos and Yom Tov, elevated, special, holy times, but every single moment of every single day. Everything we do has to be infused with a higher purpose. Our work, precisely because it is 6 days of hard work, or 6 years in the Shemitah cycle, brings holiness into everything that we do every day. So next time you face a Monday morning, whether it's working from home, or going to the office, or whatever you're doing, please God, all of us should be able to get back to work with all the traffic jams and all the stresses very soon. Remember that you're launching a fabulous week. And in that week, you're introducing one into every aspect of your life. Your work, your clients, your patients, your colleagues, your friends, your entire world. You are bringing that one into the world, which is a very, very special thing indeed. And when you do that for 6 days, on Shabbos, you can truly rest, knowing that your work is done. But please know that in Judaism, our work is not sitting in shul, davening and learning. We do that once a week. The rest of the week, our work is out there in the world, in the everyday realities of everything that we do just to stay alive and to keep things going on a daily basis. And when we act, and we do that properly, and we act according to Torah, then every single thing we do becomes elevated, becomes holy. Whatever challenges we face, and whatever we are doing, working from home, not working currently, may we all find that inner peace and that tranquility on Shabbos of knowing that we've worked hard for those 6 days and we can truly enjoy the rewards on that very special day of the week, which is Shabbos. I wish everyone a very good one, and Shabbat Shalom. Take care.